Hey y'all. So Jake the dirty editor here. So this was supposed to be the third video in this series. Um Unfortunately, I lost all my footage for the first two videos. Um I don't know what happened. I think I might have corrupted some stuff when I was moving everything around, but um hopefully. Man, there was a lot of good stuff in them first videos. But at the same time, I hope you enjoy. It's going to be the same shenanigans, but we are starting with episode 3 as episode 1. So um, I really wish we got the footage of going and picking this truck up and getting it off the trailer. But it is what it is. Moving stuff around from moving stuff around from external to internal. Some stuff just you know it happens. I'm learning. So um, hope you guys enjoy this episode. I did work not very hard on it, and hope you guys enjoy. All right, let's get into it. I'm pretty sure 3/8, 7/16, something like that. Ooh, first try, good old 7/16. Hey, this is an actual Ford Motorcraft alternator. So we all know what that means. It means it'll last maybe 2-3 weeks. I know, I'm throwing hate. All I drive is Fords. Tighten her till she loosens. That's always the motto. Well, if your ground is here and it moves forward and say it hits the front of the hood, well, the ground isn't going to do anything because it's the ground. And they want to preserve the positive side, because if this hits your hood, you're going to have a fire. Ask me how I know. Hey, so y'all know me. I get distracted very easily. But got the truck back in. All right. So basically what's going on, they said that there was an alternator issue. Let me get you turned around here. I already kind of started working on it, and I think the issue with the alternator is the fact that this belt is loose as shit. But I already unscrewed the bottom bolts with my fingers. So now I just got to get the top bolts out with my fingers. My little fingers. Set that down. Get this little feller out of here. Oh. And I did notice another issue while I was down there pulling the other bolt out. The fact that the fuel pump make it happener thing over there, that goes chuk 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 chuk. It's leaking fuel. So we're gonna have to replace that too. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and pop that little feller loose there, and get it pulled out of here. Of course, I don't want to come out of here. Hey. So this little piece of plastic doodad here is in my way. All right, grab that. All right, now I need to get a light down there. Of course, I don't have my flashlight, so we're gonna have to rig that up. So I'm gonna grab an extension cord, get some light on this situation over here. You guys can't see what I'm doing. Again, there's definitely a squeal. I don't necessarily think it was an alternator, but we already have an alternator. So we'll go ahead and just toss it on, and then we'll tighten up the power steering, because that's loose too. And I'll show you my fuel issue as well. So I'm actually hoping that that was their problem in the first place. But yeah, let me get an extension cord, get some light on this situation. What is the camera doing? Okay, so we got light. Yay! All right, now you can actually see what I am doing. So as you can see, so I just kind of wipe this off with my finger. So you got your red post, you got your little black post, and then you have your control. It's basically all you got to do. So that little guy just clips down in that post. That one's the only one that actually has all right, come on now. So that one there's the only one that actually has a nut on it. These other ones, you just kind of pop on there. I'm pretty sure 3/8, 7/16, something like that. Ooh, first try, good old 7/16. I like to keep hardware, even though, you know, whatever. They'll put new hardware on it, the little factory when they rebuild it. But now, the hard part is just getting these little guys. They make little tools for these, and of course I left mine at work. So this might be too small of a screwdriver, but we'll see. Just get in here and kind of pop that little feller out of there. See, so it's got that little tab in there, so it just pushes right down into the hole, and that's what kind of holds the harness in place. Let's go ahead and get this other one off here. There we go. And somehow I managed to get both of these off without completely breaking them, which never happens. But once that's off, just kind of pull her on out of here. All right. And that's the old alternator. It's definitely got some crusties in her, so it's not gonna hurt to change her. New alternator that I hope is right, because there were about 50 different options. All right. They usually come with the, hey, stop, ask somebody. Okay, sure, I will. Right after I put it on and mess it up. This unit has an external voltage regulator. Yeah, sure. Okay, sounds good. So, as you can see, this is nice and shiny. Go ahead and get the other one over here. So just a comparison here. So you got your old and you got your new. And actually, hey, this is an actual Ford Motorcraft alternator. So we all know what that means. It means it'll last maybe 2-3 weeks. I know, I'm throwing hate. All I drive is Fords. But One thing that's kind of neat though is that they actually give you nuts on these just in case. So those little push clips, sometimes they break and they don't want to push back on. So they give you little nuts so you can actually put a wire nut on that and then tighten that down. But we're going to go ahead and take it off because ours is still good, and I'm definitely going to keep these little nuts because I like little nuts. All right. So let's get this old girl in. This in the same way. We'll go ahead and just set her on down here like that. So we can get our harness back on. All right, so, oh, I already see an issue. So there's not the holes for my stuff anymore. Dang it. Oh, well, this must be a newer style alternator. But it just pops on down there like that, like so. Get this little feller on here. And you always want to remember, I didn't show you guys because, you know, I started doing stuff before I should have. But you always want to remember to remove your battery when you're doing something like this. There's a lot of electrical components here that you really don't want to see some fireworks with. You can ruin the external regulator, which costs more money. Not a big deal. They're pretty easy to get to, but you know what? It's better just to unplug that bad boy and do what you need to do. So, get in here. Get that cover back on there. You know what? Sometimes I don't even put the cover back on. But in this case, I'm trying to show you guys the right way to do it, so that's what we're doing here. All right. So, get that little turkey twisted over. Now you want to make sure that it lines up properly. The bottom, and it's going to be a little bit of a fight. So make sure if you're working on one of these old vehicles, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, so this is an alternator spacer. Some people lose these. If you lose these, you can't buy them. So what you end up having to do is put a bunch of washers in this gap to get the alternator to sit where you need it. Not saying it won't get you there. I've done it multiple times. It's just, you know, you ever see these? And then that's the thing too, back in the day, people used to go to junkyards and just rob these off of old vehicles because they were a hot commodity to have, especially when you were working on somebody else's project, and they neglected to put stuff back together. So, you know, it is what it is. So, get this kind of on there, get her in there finger tight. Still want it to be able to move a little bit because we're going to need to adjust the bottom nut. All right, get that there, and throw your belt back on there. Hey, that's a good looking alternator. All right, so now let's get down here. Oh, I don't know what size that is. All right, so let's get that in here and take a look at the bottom. So you can see how the bracket here is in front. This little nut will go right in the back side. All right, and then that is how you get your your belt adjustment. So you see how loose it is. When you pull it over, it tightens up. And that's how you'll get that belt adjusted. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just pull this back out, get the right size that I need, and we'll get this alternator adjusted up. And then we'll move over to the old the old power steering pump up there. Oh, that's what I was talking about. So I've got, I don't think it's a fuel pump issue. I think it's just a fitting issue. It is so dark in here. But as you can see, the fluid on my finger, that is gasoline. I think the fittings are just maybe loose on it, judging by everything else on this. But yeah, there is definitely a fuel issue. So I'm going to find the right wrench, and I'm going to get this alternator adjusted, and then we'll move over to the power steering pump. All right. Actually, I had to take a little bit of a break. There's been a lot of excitement going on around here, but let's go ahead and get this put back together. Put that bolt in. Generally what you can do on something like this, I love these old trucks because you can just kind of take a long screwdriver, just shove that thing in there, get some tension on. You don't want it to be too tight, but you want some tension on it for sure. Go ahead and just tighten that old bolt up. I think this is a lot of the alternator issue, being the fact that it wasn't tight in the first place. Get this done. I've got, ratchet wrenches and all sorts of crap, but again, that's all at work. And if my YouTube can get big enough, I can have all my tools at home. Oh, hell. I doubt it'll ever get big, but I still enjoy doing it. Tighten her down, and then once you got that one tight, let's go ahead and pop that from up underneath here. Yay! Oh, yeah. And get up here. Oh, and then we'll get you flipped around. You get down in here, so you got your top nut. Of course it's a 5/8. Oh, they all just can't be the same. Manufacturers hate me. Oh, you're kidding me. It's not a 5/8 either. Oh, well, I got an 11/16, so we'll see if that fits. Oh, there we go, 11/16. So one thing you'll find working on these old vehicles is they just can't make the hardware all the same. See, like new vehicles, take a Honda for example. I could take a Honda completely apart, like say like a 90s Honda, early 2000s Honda. I don't really mess with too much of the newer Hondas, but you got a 12, 10, 14, 17, let's see, 32, I think a 16, but yeah, that's pretty much all you need. You take the entire freaking car apart. So, all right, let's get on here. Tighten her till she loosens. That's always the motto. All right. Let's get around over here and look at this power steering pump. That belt is, well, I was going to make a comment, but I'm going to leave that one alone for right now. Let's get that there. So on these, this one's pretty simple as well. You loosen up these 3 nuts here, and that one right there is what, hold on, let me get you down there. This one right here is what actually adjusts your in and out on your pump. So, in here, yeah, trying to do this off to the side's kind of a pain, but not an issue, not an issue. We got this. So, all right, let's do here. All right, perfect example. Sometimes you just got to do the old double wrench. It just pops right loose. All right, just kind of get her loosened up there just a tick. See what size that is. I'd be completely surprised if it's a 9/16. Holy poop. All right. Let's go ahead and get this. So I believe I need to, which way do I need to go with this? So if I tighten that, it's gonna pull it, right? I'm right? Maybe? We'll see. Oh yeah, yeah, that's doing the trick right there. Tighten that nut. Get that old girl. Yeah, got some good tension on her now. Now maybe the power steering won't slip. Then just go ahead and tighten down your nuts. I'm actually surprised at how well this engine actually runs. It does have a vacuum advance on the distributor, so when I set time, I'm going to need to plug that. I don't know if I'm going to set total advance or regular advance, but you guys will be along for that. I got to fix the fuel leaking issue first, though. That's a major problem we got to look at. But for now, I just want to see how well the power steering and the alternator works. All right, you got that. Some good tension on her. You want it to have a little bit of play, but too much play, and that's when it starts slipping and your power steering don't want to work. So let's grab a hat, because I freaking hate my hair. Oh, what a day. Like I said, there was a lot of excitement going on. We were in a borderline police chase just not too long ago. Albino showed up, grabbed his car, and then my nephew's buddy's truck broke down right down the road, so I had to go down and help them with that. But all right, let's fire this beast up, see what the alternator's doing. See if we even have a reading on the alternator. That's probably something we want to look at. Oh, hey, guess what? Can't get a reading on an alternator if you don't put a battery in it to start. On these old pickups, something you might run into is you got black wire and you got a black wire. So on older vehicles, you're going to have a black wire. It's usually going to be running to the block somewhere, and that's where this one's going. Especially on Fords, it's easy to tell because right here is your ignition coil for your starter down there, and that's always going to be your hot side. So we'll get this battery down in here. What I recommend, and I know a lot of people are scared of hooking up batteries. Batteries are easy. I make sparks all the time. But what I recommend, especially if you're actually like scared of putting a battery on, always put your positive side on first, your little plus. Because when you go to put your negative on, you get no sparkies. Now, if you do it the other way, if you put your negative on first and you put that on, it's going to go, and I mean, it'll go down. It ain't going to hurt you. But the way power flows through the battery system, the load, the negative's trying to be happy. So the load's going to be going through the positive side, and that's where you get your sparky sparks. But if it's already hooked up, then all you're doing is just connecting your circuit. Plus, kind of a tip as well, just so you kind of know, especially on these older vehicles like this. So a lot of times on the older vehicles where the batteries are sitting like towards the front, right? The positive is generally going to be in the back. And the reason for that is they'll have your negative up here. Now, sometimes you have some, ghetto straps like that, or the actual strap. But if you hit a bump, there's a chance that this can move forward. Well, if your ground is here and it moves forward and say it hits the front of the hood, well, the ground isn't going to do anything because it's the ground. And they want to preserve the positive side, because if this hits your hood, you're going to have a fire. Ask me how I know. Oh. All right, let's get in here. Oh, she purrs like a kitten. Now, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. So that's my gauge. And it looks like my gauge doesn't work. There's definitely a way to tell if it's charging, but I don't have my tools for that, and we're not going to get into it right now. But I'm fairly certain it's charging. It's a brand new alternator that's, well, I hate to say it, but it's not from Napa. I haven't had good luck with Napa alternators. Not saying Napa's bad. I like Napa. I like a lot of their parts, but not their alternators. Let's see if the power steering's working. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, power steering works like a champ. I did put some brake fluid in it, so we'll see if we get a pedal. Oh, we have a pedal. We have a pedal, yes. I don't know how long we'll have a pedal because it was bone dry, so I'm not going to hit that too much more. But, for first kind of tinkering and working, seems to be good. Definitely going to have to fix that exhaust leak at some point. I'll probably buy new bolts as well, because I know me, I'll probably end up breaking half of them coming out. But get some new gaskets, get some bolts. May have to get it in here. I definitely want to fix that fuel leak issue. I need to figure that out at the fuel pump. I'm hoping it's just the fittings are loose. And then I need to get it in here. Really what I need to do is finish this old girl up here. Then I can get this backed in, and I can get the lift underneath the bed, and I can lift the bed up, and then I can do all my fuel stuff from the top. And that's the goal. Of course, it's probably so rusted it's probably not going to do anything, and I might end up breaking a bunch of bolts. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I definitely need to figure out the fuel system. Definitely need to figure out where the brake fluid is leaking from. And yeah, do some tuning. This beast will be ready to go. I'm going to be trying to get this done here in the next week or two. there's something I really want to do with this truck, and I think it'd be super fun to kind of film and kind of figure out. You'll see. If I get it done, I'm definitely making a video. But yeah, no, hey, thank you. And like I said, I will be making some more videos with this old girl. And like I said, I'm going to do some videos with this one. I said that in another video, but yeah, I'm planning on I got most of the parts for that, so I'm planning on getting that one done. I'll do some filming with it. The more tedious stuff's going to be an issue, but hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. See you in the next one.